Medical studies have shown that brain development in children from birth through 3 years old is a critical time frame for early childhood education. The skills acquired at this early time in life can make a marked difference in a person's adult life. But a lack of access and expense prevent many families from enrolling their young children in these programs. In New Hampshire, pre-kindergarten education for 3- and 4-year-olds costs more than tuition at New Hampshire's public universities. Furthermore, only 9% of eligible children in New Hampshire receive pre-K education aid through state and federal programs. We asked the presidential candidates how they build a pre-kindergarten system which provides access to every young child, regardless of geography or background.
Because I'm a governor, I've done it. So let me tell you how it's not how I would do it. Here's what we did in our state. We wanted universal child care. Now, that's a tough place to get to. What we understand is that you can't have universal child care if you just say, here's a bunch of money, let's go do universal child care. There's already a system of child care in place. So what we did was weave together the system that we have for private providers, public nonprofit providers, and then, of course, the state, things like Head Start and early essential education and things of that sort. And we used our money, and we found creative ways to use federal money.
Many of the candidates have the same goals in mind for pre-kindergarten programs. Ambassador Carol Mosley Braun fully endorsed the idea of increasing funds for Head Start. She'd like to expand that program to those communities that don't currently have it. Senator John Edwards also wants 100% funding for Head Start, which is currently at 60%. To make it work, he favors funding to recruit and train teachers for the federal program. Former General Wesley Clark echoed the call for Head Start and said he would fund it by rolling back the president's tax cuts for wealthy Americans. Some, including Congressman Dick Gephardt, called for new programs.
I would have public schools offer optional preschool 0 to 5 in every public school in America. Now, that's going to be a hard thing to get done, and I understand that. But we need to start down that road. We need to set that goal of having that as an option in every public school in America. Head Start, you bet. More money for Head Start, absolutely. And working toward the goal of having an option in every public school in this country of early childhood education, 0 to 5 in every school in this country.
Senator Joe Lieberman first pitched his idea when he was campaigning with Al Gore.
We set a goal in the 2000 campaign to provide universal preschool education for every 4-year-old in America. That's a big goal, and it's not going to happen overnight. But some of this would come from publicly subsidized programs. Some of it would come from community-based programs. Some of it would come from for-profit child care. Some from the kinds of daycare programs that exist in churches and synagogues and mosques all around America. The early years of life are critical years, more critical than when we used to think. If you can get a child, a baby, thinking, interacting into a preschool program, then that child is much more likely to do better in school.
Everyone expressed the need to increase resources for early childhood education, but a few candidates offered new ideas for pre-kindergarten.
I'm going to ask America to engage in a much bolder, much more important effort. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it 0 to 8. And the reason I want to make it 0 to 8 is that we have learned that if you can get kids through those first 4 grades in learning status, you've got a young person who has the skills and ability to learn for the rest of their life. So I want to intervene with early Head Start, pre-Head Start even, as infant, toddler, even women who are pregnant. When women go to the doctor's office, when they learn of their pregnancy, we should begin to become involved as to whether or not that family is going to be in a position to adequately do the nutrition, adequately do the vaccines, the early components of parenting.
Congressman Dennis Kucinich has offered a proposal to create universal pre-kindergarten care for children ages 3, 4, and 5. The $60 billion price tag would be covered by cuts Kucinich intends to make to defense spending. Next, we tackle the issue of public education and how to improve quality